Welcome to Investing Bros. We are back. It is Monday morning, and guys, how about some of these yellow badges? These are looking so good. You guys know that means anyone with yellow badge has now been a member for a whole month. Before you know it, guys, these badges are going to turn purple and Bitcoin's going to be hitting new all-time highs. If that is something you can't wait to see, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We got a lot to talk about today. Some big headlines covered this weekend. First of all, Trump owns crypto. Now, it's more than likely just from sales of his NFTs, but he hasn't sold it and turned it back into US dollars. Does this mean that Donald Trump might be swaying and moving a little bit more pro crypto and Bitcoin? We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. Also, SBF is behind bars finally, and you're going to want to hear why it is in case you have not already. We have a lot to cover today and only a little bit of time to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on in here and introduce my co-host for the morning, joining us from St. Petersburg, Florida, because vacay, you don't have to hold off. We got news like this. T-Shroom, how you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing really well, Tim. I'm doing really, really well. And I've actually got some pretty big news. Let me go to Brocam for it. Actually got some pretty big news. I went ahead and proposed to Amanda. And so we are now engaged. She actually, believe it or not, she actually said yes. So
Yeah, I'm disappointed because you didn't ask my permission. And that's a big deal to me. But seriously, congratulations, T-Shroom. We are very, very happy for you. How'd it go? Give me a 20-second story. How did the proposal go?
Well, she didn't want to be. She told me before that she didn't want to be around anybody. So we were at a restaurant at a beach, right on the beach, and we kind of went to kind of this other little area, and it was sunset, and the sun had just set, and it was the afterglow, and I got on my one knee, and gave her a little speech, and only one family saw us. Often this dad was dragging the 400 pounds of cooler through the sand. He was like, "Say yes," and that made her giggle and laugh. And it was a good experience. But what was crazy about that day was I was actually at we were at that restaurant, and that restaurant has a competition where everybody in the whole restaurant predicts when the sun is going to set. And because I had so much experience predicting, I won. Me and Amanda, our table won. It was just me and Amanda out of like probably 50 to 100 families there at that restaurant. So it's pretty good.
Well, real quick, T-Shroom, I don't know if you saw it and you adjust already, but you see that people are saying your mic is a little low. I noticed it at first too, but I turned my volume up. But I don't know if people turn the volume up, if I get super loud compared to you. So I don't know if you want to adjust that a little bit. Yeah, someone said his mic is not working properly. It's working. It's just definitely a little quiet.
How about sound better now?
Okay, that was loud. All right, to me. Goodness gracious. Well, man, you made me detract. Good story. We got to get back into show though. World's best boss. There we go. I'm loving the mug. I think I have one up here as well. Yeah, it's just not that big. You have a larger one. Let's get in here, guys. We are the fastest growing community here in crypto. You guys see those yellow badges. Just starting our membership, and we already have a bunch of names. We even had people in here renewing their memberships. Well, let's read some names and even shout out some of those people. The first commenter of the day was Mr. Mellow Fellow, saying GMMG Bros. Good to see you back here, Mellow Fellow. Second place, Mr. J with that yellow badge, looking good. It's a me, Crypto Mario, comes in third place today. Peter Provost is also here. Eric Wallen is here. Crypto Alchemist is here. Who else do we have? Justin Eubanks is here. Sativio Shimoto, Crypto Ben Franklin, everyone's favorite non-president. Gotta throw that little tidbit in there. Who else do we have here? Piper's here this morning with the yellow badge. Don't want to leave him out. What else do we have going on? Ada Ace is in chat this morning. Gia S is here with that blue name and that yellow badge as well. Crypto Antagonist is here. Nancy Croy is here. Who else? Let's get a couple more. We do see Yair Navarro. He has a yellow badge, but he says "Welcome to Silver." And T-Shroom, do you know what that means? That means that Yair Navarro did get gifted a membership last month, but he went ahead and just renewed it, keeping that yellow badge. So thank you so much, Yair Navarro. Shout out to you. Couple more names we have here in chat. Ninja Glock is here. Mike Play is here. The Kid Co MN is here. IC Profits, Philly Skills 1428. Crypto Ben Franklin did the same thing, updating and upgrading to silver as well, getting that yellow badge. So thank you so much. So did Maybe Band-Aid just joined as silver. So thank you so much, Maybe Band-Aid. Maybe a Band-Aid. Okay, so it's maybe with an A, so a Band-Aid. What'd you do that you need maybe a Band-Aid? Thank you so much. Guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the names. We had one more. Piper just gave, he's been a member for a month. He used his membership for a month to give a super chat saying, Shroom, turn your mic up. But sure enough, I think you did that already. Guys, we're about to jump in to this juicy content, but thank you so much for being here this morning. We already have over 77 people here, but only 46 likes, so smash that like button if you guys are excited. We start, as always, with our economic outlook this morning. So T-Shroom, let's go ahead and share my screen and take a look at what is happening here. At some point tomorrow, it looks like we don't really have anything today. Is that right? If I go to one star, what's consumer inflation expectations? So nothing really happening today, guys, but tomorrow we will have the unemployment rate for Great Britain. We'll also have retail sales tomorrow, month over month here in the US. So make sure you're coming back for that. We also get some speakers from the Fed. Kashkari is going to be speaking tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. So it'll be interesting to hear what they say. We do have a little information about inflation and interest rates coming up, so we'll cover that here in just a second. Later this week, Wednesday, we will get inflation rate in Great Britain year over year. Expectation is that it's dropping pretty significantly. After the previous one was 7.9, they're expecting to drop to 6.8 or 6.9. Could be really good for our friends over there across the pond. Building permits will come out Wednesday as well as FOMC minutes. And guys, this could be important because, again, even though interest rates are important, what's even more important is kind of factoring at this point, what is the Fed going to do in the future? Are they raising any more rates? Are we paused? When are we going to cut? So those could be actually very interesting for all markets there on Wednesday. Then later this week, Great Britain gets their retail sales as well. And let's see, was there anything else? That's okay. Now we're moving into, well, that's not even, is that this week? Yeah, that is this weekend. All right, the 18th. Sweet. Well, let's keep moving on here, guys. Let's take a look at what's happening in liquidations this morning. Got some green names, and you guys know that means longs were liquidated. Here on Bitcoin, we had 12.38 million longs liquidated. That's not a good thing. There were 2.2 shorts liquidated in the last 24 hours, but as a whole, price is moving to the downside. Same with Ethereum. Over 4 million was liquidated from long positions here. LPT, I don't know if I know what LPT is. Coming in third place here. Kind of evenly split, though. 2.3 longs liquidated, 2.1 million shorts liquidated. So kind of a mixed bag there. The biggest gainer, BLZ, again, it's kind of a mixed bag there, but almost 2 million shorts were liquidated. It's the largest one that is red this morning. Let's keep moving on and take a look at inflation. Now, this is where we're peaking up here on Trueflation. Could come back into something that's going to be interesting with that FOMC because Trueflation up 0.29%, back up to 242. You guys know here last week we were hovering down here closer towards that 2% on Trueflation, but we're making a move back up to 2.5%. So let's keep our eyes definitely fixed on that. Now, we do have some updates here from the CME futures where in September, we're holding strong, guys. We're going to go ahead and have a rate pause in September predicted at 88%. Let me make sure that nothing goes up. I don't think we have a prediction to get another 25 basis points yet, but we do when moving over to March. We are seeing that they are now predicting 40% that we are not going to cut rates in March. So we're going to go ahead and hold, and it's not going to be until May that we actually finally see the first rate cut. So why is this important? A lot of this can change, everybody, but watch the markets trade based off of this. Something happened that is making these people that kind of vote and predict what the CME or what the interest rate is going to look like. Something is spooking them and making them say, you know what? The Fed's going to have to wait one more month until they can cut. And because of that, you could see the markets move to the downside due to that factor. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Moving over to our Bitcoin Fear and Green Index, we're still hovering at 50. Yesterday, we did make it up to 54, but as those short or long liquidations kind of suggested, we had a push the other day, and now we're falling back down to 50 on our fear and greed index, staying flat and neutral. We're going to talk about this more when we get into the TA, but there's a lot of things like you can trade some short-term stuff, but when you're looking at the larger time frames, they're going back and forth as to whether we can move to the upside or the downside. And of course, that's what the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is screaming at us. Let's refresh this, make sure we get the freshest data here on CoinMarketCap for our crypto market open. Oh, I forgot to move the chat over so I can see it while I'm live. T-Shroom, let me know if anyone says anything and I can answer questions.
Will do.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Bitcoin is down 0.18% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum 0.35, BNB 0.14. XRP's up, still other direction. Who cares about the stable coins? Dogecoin down 2%. Does look like it is the leader of the top 10. Let's see, does anything else in the top 20 kind of beat that? Not really. Dogecoin, the biggest loser of the bigger coins. Let's take a look, though, overall at the biggest gainers and losers. And H-bar, Hedera up 16%. We might take a quick look at that chart here today. Wow. Biggest gainer of the day. You guys know we've been talking about this. Unlike the rest of the market where a lot of things are setting lower highs and lower lows, Hedera is one of the projects right now in a bull trend setting higher highs and higher lows, and they did just that again. So congratulations if you've been investing in H-bar. Could be interesting, though, to start looking for some take profits. We'll look at those charts here in just a second. Anything else notable? Apecoin's been in the red a lot recently. So to see Apecoin up 5%, I know people, and 13% in the last 7 days. So I know people like DZ and NFT guys are very happy to finally see Apecoin back in the green. If you're a believer, you might be a little bit profitable this week here. VeChain up 1.62. Let's see what else. Let's go look at the biggest losers today. Not a lot of them, but XDC, that's another one that's been in the green a lot. So again, when you're in the green a lot, you're probably going to hit the red. Same thing, if you've been in the red a lot, you're probably going to hit green at some point, sooner rather than later. Bone Shiba Swap down 3% here as well. Stacks is down, Cav is down, but again, nothing serious because even the biggest loser only down 3% in the crypto space. That's not too big of a deal, even for Dogecoin. 2%, not a big deal. So overall, we must have had a lot of dips here like 2 days ago because yesterday, the last 24 hours have not been that severe for crypto. With that said, though, guys, it is time to go ahead. Let's go over to BroCam really quickly, T-Shroom. Before we jump into the charts, I want to see is chat saying anything? Is there anything to engage with over there? We're about to jump into our charts. If you're excited, smash the like button. Speaking of, Cryptex just left his member chat for the month. Smash that like button. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're a member, you get one free super chat a month. So that's what you're seeing Cryptex use this morning. You saw Piper use it already. Use it wisely, ask good questions and stuff, but that is one of the advantages that comes with the membership, along with the cool badges, along with the bro times that we do, behind the scenes access, special levels in Discord to have, a little more intimate conversations. That's all the stuff you guys get when you join our membership levels. Let's see here. Piper saying stock market is selling off pre-market. Could be interesting. Look at this. Eric Wallen using his to point out something very important. Who's that handsome guy in the T-shirt? Well, T-Shroom's wearing a polo, so that would be me. I'm the handsome guy in the T-shirt, and I'm doing it just for you, Eric Wallen, because I know you missed last week. Also, Georgia, I think we're about to get a cool-off, T-Shroom. The locals say in September, the nights especially start cooling off. But yesterday I was outside playing with Brody, and I'm telling you, when I tell you it felt like the scorching heat of Satan's butthole, I'm not over exaggerating. It was intense up here in Georgia in the heat. So I went no hoodie today, guys. I know Eric Wallen's very happy about that. Crypto Gamer says must be new to the market if you're not know of Live Peer. Yeah, well, let me know in chat. Have you guys heard of Live Peer? T-Shroom, have you heard of Live Peer?
It was one of the ones that was being liquidated. I didn't know it by its ticker, but when I saw Live Peer, I did recognize it. I've heard of it, but it's not. I don't even really know what it is. So must be new to the market.
I must be new to the market, I guess, because Fire says I burned Satan. All right. Well, chat, good to engage with you guys. I want to do something. I want to move this back over to where I pop this out so I can see while we are live, but this does mean I need to adjust a couple things here, T-Shroom. Entertain them with another story while I'm fixing my computer.
With another story. Well,
you're full of stories. There's no such shortage of T-Shroom stories.
Well, I was in downtown St. Pete. I won't say exactly what I was doing. 'Cause probably say some other time, but I was at a very, very high levels at the 37th floor of a high rise party. I posted something on Instagram. I posted a little story of that panoramic. It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but it reminded me of being at that height. Reminded me of rappelling 60 feet in the army that I've done before. I also rappelled 40 feet, but obviously the 60 feet was scarier. And guys, it just kind of reminded me
Mm.
of like sometimes in life you have to do things that are so scary, right? Whether it be asking someone to marry you, or whether it
Mm.
be standing 60 feet above the ground and trusting that the person that rigged all your rope did it correctly, right? And is gonna be there for you.
Fair.
So, you gotta trust. You gotta trust. It overcomes fear.
All right. Well, good story, T Shroom. Thank you so much for our story. I am ready to jump into the chart. So let's go ahead and head over to my screen, guys. We're talking some Bitcoin. We'll do some others. Again, I'm going to do H bar because that one looks interesting for sure this morning. But you guys know the charts are always brought to you by Chart Prime, the best trading indicator out there. It is just killing it. If you guys don't have it already, what are you even doing? Go sign up down below. You get 45% off your first purchase of a month or a quarter with us. I also think, oh no, the deal ended. Sorry, guys, you missed the $1 free month trial, but it's still worth every other penny. And again, 45% off ain't bad to try it out for a month. Go sign up with them. Thank you to Chart Prime, by the way, for sponsoring the Investing Bros and keeping the lights on over here. Bitcoin is down, as we talked about earlier. It is down from Saturday's highs we had back here. We rallied back up to 30,200. I guess that wasn't Saturday. That was back here on Thursday or something over here. What day? I'm actually curious now. What day did we get that high? Yeah, it was Thursday. Tuesday? No, I don't know why it's saying Tuesday. That happened well before Tuesday, right?
I think it was Tuesday.
Man, the week just flew by, didn't it? Goodness gracious. Well, we're down again, everybody. We are heading back to the downside. When I'm pulling up some of these oscillators, you are going to see in these shorter time frames, we are seeing some reversal indications here. We got a green reversal on the oscillator, but look at how high it is for being a low on the oscillator. The RSI, we wicked down to 19, but as a whole close, that little histogram right there. If this was an actual RSI, you guys know I love using the Chart Prime version of RSI, but if it was the normal RSI version, you would not have even gotten overextended because these readjust and move back to the upside. So could be interesting. Even though we got this green reversal, I think I'm still leaning towards even this 4-hour chart giving us an indication. I think we're moving to the downside here. It's the mixed bag when you go to the higher time frames. Because on the daily chart, we started to bottom out. We had some bullish divergence, but we're seeing some rounding. You see the money flow is rounding. You see the RSI peaked and is coming back down. You can see we just turned this ribbon red here on the Chart Prime oscillator. So the daily chart, have to say it's leaning with the oscillators, maybe a little bit more bearish in the short term. 2 daily, you could make a good argument that it's still bullish because we did get a bullish divergence. Money flow looks like it's curving at the bottom and it's starting to head to the upside, even though the RSI is showing 3 candles to the downside. I think the 2 daily, you can make an argument for saying it's suggesting we should be moving to the upside, but then you come to the 3-day, and that's definitely bearish. After peaking out, money flow falling, the oscillators are dropping. We're hesitating right there on the middle line, but there's a lot more downside, it looks like. 5-daily chart, definitely moving down with that bearish divergence. Money flow was moving to the upside, is curving over. We got a red ribbon. So these higher time frames are saying that we should be moving to the downside. These more medium ones, 2 daily is saying, hey, maybe there's room to the upside. Daily charts kind of, in the middle there, saying we could go to the downside, could go to the upside. But when we come to these lower time frames, 4-hour, despite the fact that there are bullish flashes, these are not very convincing bullish flashes. And you move down to the hourly chart, guys, and this is where the hourly chart is kind of saying, I think we have further room to the downside. Bearish divergence forming, money flow not really picking up any steam to move to the upside, but we are seeing the oscillator bend over here on the trend fusion to the downside, RSI coming back to the downside. So a lot of things more suggesting downside today. Should be a red day more than likely, but let's take a look here at some oscillators. Let's move out to the daily chart, I guess. Not oscillators, sorry, indicators. Let's take a look at some of the other indicators here. 4-hour, we did get a reversal to the downside with that peak that I guess happened on Tuesday. Man, that it seems like it was more recent that we had that nice spike up.
Well, there was a spike on Thursday too. It didn't go as high, but there was a spike
okay, maybe
Thursday.
that's yeah. Either way, we're coming to the downside. You can see on the 4-hour chart right now, price is wrestling between that. It's not the dynamic reactor. I called it the dynamic reactor, but I want to get this correct for anyone who uses Chart Prime. It's not that. It's actually called the volume flex reactor. I just like it because it's more like the old dynamic reactor. The new dynamic reactor kind of measures things different and moves a little different. Volume flex reactor is what I like to use, but everyone's different. So however you like your Chart Prime, let me know in chat. But we're wrestling between that volume flex reactor and our trend assistant right now on the 4-hour chart. So keep your eyes on that. We're not really able to flip that bullish. The bulls really need to flip that if they want to, but you can see the most recent candles rejected there once again. By the way, today we're doing our second ever price predictions of the bullish and bearish prices this week on Bitcoin. You guys know me, Piper, and T-Shroom will give ours, and we'll compete, the three of us, but also our silver and gold members can go over to Discord and give their predictions as well today, and we'll get a shout out to whoever wins that on Friday. So yeah, 4-hour chart not looking necessarily that great here for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at some price actions. You can see we did wick down here yesterday and came down to this nice little order block we talked about last Friday around 29.1, but it was not enough to fill it. So I'm sitting here wondering, are we going to be going back down there again here very, very soon? Keep that in perspective when we're about to make these predictions here at the end of the show about what we think could the highest and lowest prices of Bitcoin be. That's an indication more than likely the rest of this week we probably will see a 29.1. We do have another order block above us sitting up all the way towards 30,200. So that could be another interesting one to keep your eye on, as well as some significant resistance right around where we're rejecting right here at 29.3. So all of these levels kind of very, very important to keep your eyes on. Let's take a look at our fixed range volume. Let me turn these off though so they can come off. Let's take a look at fixed range volume over the last quarter or so and can just keep ourselves updated on that. Let's go to the beginning of July. And let's see what we're looking at here with our value area high, value area low. All right, so right now we are hovering above our point of control, but keep your eyes down here towards 28.8, that value area low. Again, as we were talking about, we're kind of looking more bearish right now. You definitely want to keep your eyes on the quarter value area low right there. Could be interesting. A high, if we make it there, 30,400 or so. You guys know we talked about this last week. If we were to top this level, if we were to beat these candles, that would probably be a good indication that the bulls have gained back control and we could be looking for newer highs here on the year. But that's going to be a pretty strong level of resistance to keep your eyes on. Even if we start to see a push, don't get too FOMO'd in and think that because we start pushing up back into 30,000 that all of a sudden the bulls have control. They would need to beat that 30,400 and start closing candles above it to confirm that they've regained that control. So that's what we're seeing here on Bitcoin in the shorter term. We'll talk about this more at the end of the show. Let's take a look. I told you guys we're going to look at HBAR. What time do I have? All right, I'm going to look at HBAR today, and maybe later in the show, if we have time, we might look at some more coins. If you guys want to come into our Discord and ask us to do some quick TA on coins, we do that quite frequently, but you got to be on our Discord if you want to get access to that. Let's take a look at HBAR. You guys know that I have a prediction on the table at the moment up here towards 7.8 cents, 7.9 cents or so because of the breakout of the falling wedge pattern. You can see all the way since back here on June 10th, like I was talking about, we are setting higher highs and higher lows, unlike what we see on other coins setting lower highs and lower lows. So HBAR definitely very interesting. Had a big pickup yesterday, as CoinMarketCap kind of insinuated. It had a rally here. What are we looking at, though, when we look at the 4-hour chart? We did just get an overbought flash. Money flow, I don't know if you guys can see that very well. It could keep moving up. It's starting to round off after that very explosive move in money flow. It's rounding a little bit, but that's still definitely heading to the upside. I wouldn't necessarily be rushing to take profits just yet. You can see a nice amount of volume came in confirming this move. This is also a very bullish thing. What I would also be looking for, guys, is not just the price start hesitating, but wait to see when volume spikes up a little bit more. That would be the sign that I think a lot of either people are taking profit or people are entering sales and entering short positions. HBAR could keep moving to the upside. I bet you if we go up to the daily chart, it's going to be a little more bullish for us. Yeah, so here's why this is bullish, guys. I've said this before. In a bull run, you ignore what I call these Christmas tree ornaments. We've recently, and these are good calls for peaks, overbought and red triangle, overbought red triangle, called both those peaks perfectly that had small retracements, but now we're rallying again. And guys, we've got a lot of room to run. I do want to wait and see. This is the daily chart, so you don't have to wait for the next couple of days. But if we do get a red candle that closes and this histogram or this oscillator is not higher yet, maybe you start to see some bearish divergence. But as you guys can see here, looking at this, the RSI is not overextended at the moment. We're continuing to move bullish despite the fact that we're getting these overbought flashes, and money flow is still flowing to the upside. I'm still bullish here on H-bar. Again, keeping my eyes on, could we get an explosive movement up here to that 7.9 cent region? Could be very, very interesting. That is the crypto TA we have for you guys today. Holy crap, we had a lot of messages from Fire that got deleted. Fire, please don't scam our chat. We love having every single one of you here, but don't scam the chat. Don't be one of those people. Be positive, be uplifting, be helpful, be engaging. Don't be a scammer. T-Shroom, let's go to BroCam and let's talk community, because we do have some announcements this week that we want to make sure everybody knows about. I have a couple, but I want to start off with you, T-Shroom. What is some stuff people need to know about this week?
Well, this week, we've got Big Caleb Franzen coming in on Wednesday. That's going to be a ton of fun. Caleb Franzen's known for, he's more on the stock pick side, but he keeps a tight knowledge base when it comes to the macro, right? So I'm talking the Fed, I'm talking the interest rates, I'm talking inflation. So he keeps his thumb on the pulse over there, and that is extremely helpful for us crypto traders. Caleb also big Bitcoin guy too, so he plays both sides, just like your boy here, T-Shroom, loves his stocks and loves his crypto. So Caleb, Wednesday, don't want to miss it.
Boom. Yeah, and speaking of other people coming on, he was just on Friday, but Piper will be joining the show tomorrow again, but that's because I will be out. I have an all-day meeting tomorrow, which means for anyone in bro time, I'm not going to be able to be at bro time or the show tomorrow morning, but Piper will be here. T-Shroom will be here. The show will still be fantastic. So make sure you come back and show them support as they're hosting the show. Here's the thing, guys. Just like all of us, we all play a very important role here for Investing Bros. So T-Shroom, you guys know T-Shroom, which he didn't do a quote of the day today, so I'm a little disappointed in him. But I'm going to give him a pass since he just got engaged and his mind is probably a little distracted. But T-Shroom with that quote of the day and then running the headlines, very important part of the team. Piper usually does the economic outlooks and really goes deep into the trading stuff. I'm the host of the show, get everything going, kind of keep it flowing. So when any one of us misses, the others have to pick it up. And I feel like all three of us, we do a great job covering, but we're never perfect replacements for others. There's a reason why the three of us work together. We all have our specialties, and we cannot wait to have Piper back full time. But we're very glad he's getting some rest and getting some time with his family. That's much needed. But if you miss him, that was a long segue to say if you miss him, you're gonna get more of him tomorrow. So make sure you are there. I think that I should still be able to be a part of tactical trades tomorrow night. So that is some good news. I will be back tomorrow night, but I do have an all-day meeting. Let's see, anything else? We will be back Wednesday night with our next X Spaces. We took off last week. Both T-Shirt and myself were just, it had been a week. It had been a mental week, and we said, you know what? Let's take this week off, but we'll be back next week stronger than ever for our X Spaces. So make sure you're there Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on the Investing Bros Twitter Spaces. But with that said, I think it's time to jump into some of our stories. Make sure you guys smash that like button. We have 133 people watching right this very second. But again, only 82 likes. So we got over 50 of you watching. I'm going to say 70 of you watching that have not smashed that like button yet. What are you doing? It's free. It's 100% free. You can do it right now, right here. One muscle right there on the like, and that's a win. That's a win for you. It's a win for me. It's a win for all of us. T-Shroom, what is we have a couple big stories to talk about today, but what are some of our bigger stories?
Yeah, let's go ahead and check those out. The biggest one definitely is going to be this one, Donald Trump is long skeptical of crypto. Yeah. It's coming out that he actually holds 500,000 in Ethereum, up to 5,000. So, someone's dove into the back end to be able to see kind of what maybe his wallets have, and this is kind of what they've concluded. As much as 500,000, I've seen 250,000. So, Tim, what do you think about this? Is this something that's bullish, or should folks be concerned?
Yeah, well, we'll start with a dose of realism, and then we'll move into our FOMO positivity. So realism, guys, he sold a bunch of NFTs. The truth is he probably is down because I think the price of Ethereum might be a little bit lower than some of those sales. But he sold a lot of NFTs. And what would he have gotten paid in? He would have gotten paid in ERC20 tokens, Ethereum. This is why he's holding Ethereum. So in case anyone was wondering, is Trump out here buying crypto? No, he is making crypto. But here, now that we have our dose of reality, let's get into the positivity side. Why hasn't he sold that Ethereum for US dollars? If he is so confident and so strong about the US dollar, why is he not selling it back in? Are we seeing Trump soften his stance on crypto? We have not heard him come out and say, I love Ethereum or I love crypto or I've changed my mind and I'm pro Bitcoin. But a move like this is at least a step in the right direction that he's clearly not opposed to holding some. Moving back into reality, $500,000. That's like the highest. And I've seen 250 to 500,000 people aren't 100% sure. That's a very small fraction of this man's overall wealth. So, let's not go crazy just yet. But I do think this is the right step in the direction of saying, could we potentially see Trump run on a pro crypto platform, unlike what we've heard him say in the past, where he's kind of implied he doesn't really like crypto. He thinks it's scam money. Maybe he's softening. We know his son, you guys know that his son had an interview with Ben where his son seemed pro crypto. So maybe his son's been whispering some sweet nothings into his ear and turning his tune a little bit. Teacher, do you agree with that, or do you think there's another take that we're missing?
Well, no, I think that there's definitely a lot to that, and I'll kind of briefly just kind of scroll through.
That's my screen, but
I'll scroll through his NFT collection as well.
My charts,
just kind of taking a look there. But I think that what I am kind of thinking when I are reading these headlines is it's actually probably Trump's aides and like the folks who are doing kind of the research on his competitors, like DeSantis and Vivek and even Kennedy to some extent. Trying to think like, well, what are what's making these guys do well? What are they succeeding in? What are their weaknesses? And I think one of the big strengths is that the crypto community is very active online, right? And so I think that these candidates, especially DeSantis and Kennedy, know that, and they're kind of fighting for that engagement market share. Whether or not they actually, Kennedy definitely seems to be pretty pro crypto. Whether or not DeSantis is, or if he's just doing it to kind of placate, to get votes and get engagement, who knows? But either way, I think a lot of Trump staff is seeing that and saying, hey, this crypto stuff is big, and this crypto community is very engaged, and they have family and they have friends and they're real people. They are more than likely going to go out and vote. So that's something that I think his staff is looking into. And while he isn't coming out and saying anything here, he's not sold, like you said, and that's kind of the big thing. He hasn't just converted that Ethereum for dollars, and I think that is probably the biggest point here, for sure.
Well, we got some chat here that we can engage with. Kid, come on. And I said, come on, even though it's CoMN. Said, Trump doesn't understand. My guess is that he has no clue about any of this. Interesting thought. And there's a small chance you're right. But I would be surprised if anyone on his team is secretly holding crypto without his knowledge. Worst case scenario, now that this headline is out, he's aware of it. So maybe this forces a response from him. I would say if he says nothing, that's a good sign. That means he knew this the whole time, and he's choosing to hold Ethereum. If he didn't know that he's holding Ethereum, if he didn't know his aides have just held on to it, you're going to hear about it. You're going to see something happen. So I would say it's possible, Kid CoMN, but I think he knows about it, and I think he's completely fine with it. When you also think about who he's going after, I think he knows he would infuriate a large portion of people that probably will vote for him that are pro crypto. So if anything, maybe he's playing the silent game of like saying he's not all on board yet, but he's definitely not coming out and joining the likes of Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren by saying war on crypto. That would be pretty brutal for him. So we'll see how that one looks. We also saw another comment here. Elo Brown said, can you orange pill an orange guy? That's the question of the day. Can you orange pill an orange guy? Maybe he already took the orange pill and he just hasn't told us yet. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead, T-Shroom. Good questions, guys. Again, we're trying to engage with you guys a lot more. So make sure you guys are dropping your thoughts, your questions, your everything, and we'll engage with you. We can go ahead and move on to the next story, though, T-shirt. I think we've covered this one pretty well, unless you have a closing thought.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You good?
So Sam Bankman,
there you go. Okay.
Sam Bankman's bail was revoked, and it looks like he's going to be detained in jail until the trial starts in October. So there's a picture of what his future is probably looking like. It's a jail. So Tim, is this enough justice, or are we as a crypto community, do we need more? Do we need the conviction to be able to feel made whole again, and the destruction that SBF has brought to crypto? So is this enough?
Well, to be fair, the most important part of the story is why he's behind jail, because we know he's committed a lot of different crimes. This one is because of tampering with witnesses. That is no small accusation. I don't know if any of you guys follow Ben on Twitter. Ben had an interesting take on this because he still has contacts and people that he talks with that know a lot more about what's going on here. And they were saying that in recent days, Sam Bankman-Fried has looked terrified. He has looked petrified. That is not a small thing, especially when you talk about tampering with witnesses and him now going to jail. You don't think that the DOJ and the lawyers of the prosecution are going to start leaning on him a little bit more? Because we all know Sam Bankman-Fried is not a criminal mastermind. I'm not even that certain of how intelligent this guy is. I think there is a team of people using him like a puppet, and now that they have him behind bars, could they potentially start leaning on him and getting some names? But guess what? When you are being played like a puppet with some of these powerful people, better watch your back, because if you start naming names, they might start coming after you. Sam Bankman-Fried is terrified, and I think it's going to be very interesting to watch how this continues. It's good, though, to see him behind bars where he belongs, but I would love to see the others join him as well, and I want all those names. So maybe the prosecution get it out of him. What are your thoughts, T-Sherm?
Yeah, well, my mind kind of goes to what could potentially happen in jail. It's not clear that he's going to one of these like celebrity jails. It's just said jail, and that could potentially change. I mean, he's got some money. He's got some friends that have some money for sure. But there's probably a lot of people in jail who are not very well educated, let's say, and they can easily see this guy, SBF, as just bad, maybe even one, close to some of the other terrible people that make their way into jail that are not seen as okay, and those people are beaten people who've like done like sex crimes to children, especially. They're borderline tortured in jail. The criminals do not like them. And so guys that are in there just for murder or in for, things that are definitely extremely violent, but are not necessarily sex crimes to children, they take out those violent tendencies on those people. And I wonder if that may have similar outcomes with SBF, because he has lost so many people like them and their families a lot of money. And
I will say, T-shirt, I'm not an expert on what the etiquette is in prison. Never been to prison. Hope that answer doesn't change the rest of my life. I would have to imagine, though, and maybe someone in chat could help confirm or deny, that an economic crime or a financial crime is not as seen poorly as like you said, a sex criminal, or especially a child, hurting a child anyway, whether sexual or just physical. I would imagine has to be the worst to go to prison for. I don't know if it's considered like when you go to jail for financial reasons, tax fraud,
but here's
scamming.
The thing. So here's the thing, though, is like these people, look again, they're not thinking, that's a very logical, rational thought, Tim, and I don't expect anything less from you. But the people that are in jail are not necessarily thinking that rationally. Because if I saw SBF in jail, I'd be like, oh, that guy actually didn't really lose me any money because I didn't sell, right? But those types of people that are in jail, they see him and they're like, anybody who ever lost any money in crypto, he's the bad guy, right? And so they they have nothing else to do, right, except to take out their thoughts, take out their aggression on something, And so he may be the target of their ire. Well, and I'm not saying I want that, by the way, guys. I don't think anybody, I don't wish any physical harm on SBF or any harm other than what he is due by justice.
Yeah, Donato Cabrera kind of echoes what my thoughts are about why he should be worried about jail. Donato Cabrera says SBF probably be hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein soon. That was my thought. I don't know if he should be worried about the average prisoner. I think he should be worried about a prisoner who's on the payroll of one of his friends. That and you hate to say it, and it's just one of those things. Like here's what I will say. I want to just make sure it's very clear. I really do hope that no one here in Investing Bros community is like wishing physical harm upon SBF. When we say justice, physical harm is not justice for SBF. Prison is justice. Working everything he can to pay back the people he stole money from is justice. But being beaten or killed, that is not justice for SBF. If the courts decide something different, there's no reason why they'd give him any type of physical penalty whatsoever. But if they decided that that's justice, but it's one of those things you do not want to see it, but you have to sit here and kind of expect, again, when you get into bed with evil, powerful people, and then you get caught and everything appears that you are the scapegoat, you do have to sit here and worry about the safety and the health of SBF in prison, especially with the threat of him potentially starting to name some names. He is rough. And again, I think that's what even Ben is alluding to, that those sources are saying. I think the fear that SBF is having is not the fact that he's in prison and he can't play League of Legends anymore. I think that he is legitimately worried about his safety from a perspective of, now that he has these powerful friends who do not want to be named, they have connections and they have people. But again, let us know in chat what you guys think about that story. Let's move on. We have a couple other stories here, and then we're going to get into our predictions here later on in the show here in about 9 to 10 minutes or so. But what else do we have, T-Shirt?
Yep, absolutely. Well, checking out some more stories here. Argentina's new president, Xavier Milei. Did I pronounce that right? Let me know in the chat. Xavier Milei is pro-Bitcoin. What does that mean? And it's not, I don't know why this headline is saying new president. Maybe they know something I don't. But as far as I know, he's only won the primaries. And then Tim and I were asking the question, let's just get into it. Let's get into it here.
Yeah.
Tim, what could this mean for Bitcoin? What is the most extreme outcome here to the upside? But could this just be a nothing burger?
Well, the first thing I'd have to say is, if you go back to the picture of him, show him real quick. If he runs for president and wins president of Argentina, I think the casting of the next Pride and Prejudice movie is going to have to be recasted because he's no longer available. Yeah. That hair is something different, But on a more serious note, again, if he's a third party, and the big headline is that he won a primary, what does that mean? Like, I'm not Argentinian, but in America, if we had a story like, oh, such and so won the primary for the Green Party, we'd be like, cool. I mean, that doesn't mean anything because we know every president is going to be running under the Republican or Democrat ticket. That's one of the stupid things about our political, situation. I don't know how much different Argentina is, but you do have to ask, like, what does it mean to win a primary as a third party? Maybe someone in chat knows. But on a positive note, like, hey, like, that's a win in the right direction. He's clearly getting publicity. I would love to see every president or prime minister or leader of any nation in the world turn pro crypto, because that's just more moving the world in the right direction. But I do question how significant this story is. To be fair, I don't know a lot of details about Argentinian government and political, factors, but if it's anything like the U.S., I don't know if we can really start rejoicing too heavily just yet. But T-Shirt, do you have a thought?
Yeah, I mean, it could be that he's in the Libertarian Party. It doesn't say that straight up in the articles that I've been reading about. I mean, look, guys, it is like these elections, especially not even the general elections in other countries. It's hard to kind of get your mind around. But clearly, his headline is coming around for a reason, and that's because this guy is not just pro Bitcoin like DeSantis is. He's more Kennedy. He's more like actively, aggressively pro Bitcoin. There's a quote in the Decrypt article that says, the self-proclaimed libertarian economist has called Bitcoin and some of its competition like Ethereum a return of money to its original creator, the private sector, which is it's a really interesting thought. And to me, it kind of projects a high level of sophistication and understanding of the fundamentals of economics. And money did come from the private sector. It wasn't like one day, King Nebuchadnezzar said, and now we will have a coin, right? It came from trade. It came from people who were merchants, buying and selling things from each other, looking for a common exchange of value. So, and that's like the definition of the private sector, right? The Silk Road and the merchants of old. So I really like that. I like that approach from him, and on a singular dimension only. That the other thing too is like we have no idea what he stands for on other policies. He could have some really wacky views on immigration or defense and different things like that. You also have the other interesting little hook here, which is that Brazil is seen as one of the bigger players in the whole BRICS narrative, right?
Right.
They put the B in BRICS. Brazil does.
So they get the first letter.
So as that does seem to be continue, I wouldn't say the BRICS narrative has picked up steam, but as that narrative does continue to kind of march along on the same level of momentum, it'll be interesting to see how that's changed if he is elected president of Argentina. Yeah. So
I agree.
That could be very interesting, because as of right now, as far as I know, they're looking to back the BRICS dollar, right, or the BRICS. Definitely not going to be called a dollar, but the BRICS currency with gold and commodities. It doesn't look like they want to do any crypto just yet, but that could change. So, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. But
well, before we get into predictions here in like 5 minutes or so, any other news you have? I know I have one more story I know we could talk about, but do you have anything else, T-Shirt?
Yeah, there's still the one more story. If I could just really quickly just do a super quick
beep.
Everything good?
No, you're good. Something just beeped really loud.
No worries. A quick little look into the indexes this morning. You are seeing the NASDAQ actually maintain green status, and then the S&P and the Dow Jones very modestly red. So nothing super hardcore to conclude there. But what I will say is that over the weekend, we were staying in hotels down here in like the Tampa area, and essentially what I was watching was a lot of Bloomberg TV. And it was a lot of crypto talk. Mike Novogratz was on with what's his name, Rubenstein, and they were just going back and forth, very bullish on crypto, talking about all the main talking points. So it wasn't just that one that we covered last week. Crypto is being covered a lot, and so that's actually going to be playing kind of big into my prediction. So, but there is one more story. There is one more story, and that is a pretty big one. It could be big. Is former SEC authority John Reed Stark says SEC will not approve a Bitcoin spot ETF. And it goes into detail, but I mean, that's kind of all you need to hear. So, Tim, does this one have you shaking in your boots, or do you think that there's some bigger authorities such as BlackRock who have already said, hey, this is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Who do we trust, Tim?
Well, go back to your article real quick, because there's one line it looked like I hadn't seen that specific article. Can you go back to it? I'd seen his tweet. I hadn't read into it that far. It says the attorney says a Republican administration after 2024 would be friendlier to ETF applications and rollback enforcement actions. Very interesting that he would say that. We can go back to Brocam now. My first response to this is kind of like, first of all, who cares what you think now, former SEC? You're former SEC chairman, not active SEC chairman. I understand where he's coming from, but I do believe that some articles and some stories we've heard more recently from people who are very, very into what's happening, they're believing it's an 100% thing at this point. The question is when, not if. So theoretically speaking, that could imply that the when means we're not going to get it done this fall or winter, that we are waiting for a later date. But I just don't see that happening, because here's another thing I guarantee would happen. If Gary comes up with some weird way of saying no to these ETFs, he's going to be saying no to Larry Fink and BlackRock. He's going to get sued, and he's going to get burned, and he's going to get hit bad because he doesn't have a reason as to why. Now, that hasn't stopped him from doing that before, so you can't say never with Gary Gensler. He absolutely could say no and give no reason whatsoever, but he will be sued. He will lose that lawsuit. An ETF will come. Former SEC chairman, I understand why he's saying what he's saying, but when you look at data that's actually happening, you're looking at people who are a lot closer to the situation than even he is. We know it's coming, and more than likely it will come between 4 to 6 months. So that's my thought. But I do agree with him that if it said no, it's going to have a lot to do with the current government in power still allowing Gary and his goons to do what they want to in the SEC. But this could be an issue. I will just say right now, I already think Gary's going to lose his job. But if he says no and Larry Fink unleashes the gates of financial hell upon him, that's the end of Gary Gensler. He is going to be kicked out, and potentially Hester Pierce is going to be the one taking a spot, which I think could be a win for everyone in crypto. Hester is much more common sense. I'm not going to say she's like pro crypto, but she's not anti crypto. And honestly, that's okay. We don't need pro people. We need people who are open to common sense and education, I guess the best way to put it, who's open to be educated on the benefits of cryptocurrency. That's my thoughts. T. Sherman, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is some pretty. It's like another desperate move. We've seen the SEC make some desperate moves this year. It seems like another one where Gary or some insider is like, man, this Bitcoin price, we just can't get it to go down. Whether they're trying to manipulate and gain more Bitcoin to buy it lower, or whether they want to see this thing try to go to zero by itself. Which if that's the case, they don't understand what they're doing. And so it kind of makes me think like, hey, let's throw this old commissioner out and have him say something. But the thing is that the price of Bitcoin really hasn't moved as a result of this headline. And maybe that's because it's still early in the morning. It hasn't really permeated through all the fearful little jitter fingers, weak hands. But my guess is that this is just FUD. It's just classic FUD, desperate attempts as the SEC just kind of bides their time. So yeah. What I will say though is I was looking at some other stuff that Argentinian he's definitely not president yet. There's October is when the presidential elections are. But the thing is, their markets, what's left of their markets down in Argentina, are sliding. I haven't taken a look at like exactly what percentage down they are, but it's because he wants to axe their Fed. He wants to axe their central bank. Which this guy, he doesn't seem like he's all talk. He seems like the kind of guy who's kind of a little bit crazy, a little bit like Trump. Like, well, he'll come in and actually do it. So that could be kind of crazy. I mean, Argentina is kind of the poster child for insane economies right now, because their inflation rate, I believe, is above 90%. So it's kind of like a foregone conclusion that their Fed sucks, but that their central bank sucks. So the fact that he's wanting to axe them, though, Argentina could be the next country to go ahead and just nationalize Bitcoin. Make it a national currency, legal tender.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Another, as we close up this topic, we move into our predictions for the rest of this week for Bitcoin. Another thought is, and I've seen people talk about this, is was this FUD to try to drop the price again so that people like BlackRock and ARK Invest and others applying for the ETF can try to get more supply at lower levels. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far just yet, but it's a theory to throw out there. Let me know in chat what your thoughts about that are. But guys, it is time now to get into our Bitcoin price prediction. So anyone who maybe missed last Monday, we explained this game that we are playing is not about where the price will be on Friday. It is about, are you the Bitcoin bull or are you the bear of the week? Last week, I was the bear of the week. I had the closest prediction for the low on the week. T-Shroom was the Bitcoin bull. He got the right answer for the highest one. So congratulations to T-Shroom. Just so you guys know, to win this, it's not even about just being the closest. If you give a price, your price has to be activated for you to be entered. So for example, Piper gave the lowest prediction last week of the three of us, but it didn't get as low as his price. So therefore, he did not get entered to win the bear of the week. All of us got entered for the bull of the week because it went higher than all of us expected. But we're going to have our second round of this. Piper, you can go ahead and write yours down and take a picture of it and send it to me later so I can get your prediction. The rest of you, feel free to put your predictions in chat. All of our silver and gold members, you guys know over in our Discord, there is a channel called Bitcoin Price Predictions where you have to enter it there to get entered to win, and we'll give you a special shout out whoever wins on Friday. But T-Shroom, let's take a look at the chart real quick, and let's look at the 4-hour chart. Probably going to give us the best indication. 4 and 6 hour probably going to give us the best indication of what the rest of this week could look like. After last week, again, after our predictions happened, the lowest we got was 28,670. The highest we got all the way up to 30,200. I don't know. It's going to be hard. I think there's some things that could send us volatile again. I'm leaning towards, I don't know if we can get that high again. Some interesting things to keep our eye on. Let's go back and just, since we've been more this boring range, since we dropped and lost support up here around 29,600 or so. This is our value area high, value area low, and point of control. Point of control sitting right there at 29.2, value area low 29.8. 29.5 is our value area high. Let's look at Fibonacci levels here that I think could be important. Let's just go ahead and take a look from all the way down here all the way up here. I think is an interesting levels to watch on. You see we bounced right off that golden pocket here last night when we did do that dip. Some interesting levels. Platinum pockets down here at 28.8, our 0.236 all the way up here at 29.8. So interesting zones that I'm going to go ahead, T-Shroom. I'm going to write in mine. I'm interested, though, chat. Let me know what you're thinking, T-Shroom. I know you're thinking about yours as well. I think we could have a volatile week, but the question is, do we get a bullish push or do we get a bearish push? I'm going to go ahead and write mine in. Let's do this. I'm not going to say it out loud. I'm going to go with this level right here. And by the way, we predict down to the cent. So make sure you keep that in your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. I've got mine
right.
in a text message to Tim.
I got to get my high here. Let's see. I'm going to get a little more aggressive this week because last week I made the mistake of being too conservative and too tight. I was not very volatile, and it came back to bite me. Even though I won the bear of the week, I could have easily lost that one. So, all right, T-Shroom, you have given you texted me yours already?
I have it in the.
You have it written down?
All right. I haven't pressed send yet. Yeah.
I'm going to go first. So I'm looking here. Go ahead and go to my screen real quick. And I'm going to stick actually by looking at all of this. I'm going to go with, I think the bearish nature this week. I think I could be a little high on this one, but I went with the top end of the platinum pocket. My price is 28,842 and 63 cents is my bearish prediction, and I am a little more bearish. I went ahead and even though it's a little higher than this, I think there's a chance we make a push up and a wick up to where that wick is right there back on August 9th. I think we could get a little bounce here. I went with 29,638 and 71 cents is my bullish prediction for the week. So I'm a bigger bear than bull. It'll be interesting. There's a chance that the bullish, I'm interested to see what you say, and I'm interested to see what Piper says and others, because there's a chance that we don't go up. Like the rest of the week is red. Because again, August are usually red. And right now, if you look at the monthly chart, August is green. I do think maybe it's this week or maybe next week becomes a very red week because I still believe August will close in the red, but we got a lot of weeks left before that gets decided for certain. We can go back to BroCam here, T-Shroom. What are your price levels you're looking at? Start with, what's your bullish prediction?
All right, so my high is 29,701 and 76
All right, you're
cents.
A little higher than me.
Yeah.
701 and what cents?
76.
76.
And I
interesting.
What
do you have any reason as to why that's your price level?
I do. It has a lot to do with where the Bollinger Band is. So I put it just above kind of where on the daily. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because what I think, and then my low is 28,821.69.
So you went 821. All right. This is not good. And I'll say why this is not good. And what was your sense?
69.
You literally are right above me by like $70, $60-something.
Yeah.
And you're below me by $21.
Which is funny because I wrote this down like at 8:30. So
well, it's crazy that we're so close to the same levels, but yet you are on the outside of both. So like I'm going to need a mini miracle. I want to hear what Piper has to say too, because Piper could throw a wrench in this whole ordeal. Yeah. But I'm interested because I'm gonna put the chances of Tim winning, guys, at about 1% this week, and that's simply because I don't have a lot of room for error when it comes to T-Shroom's predictions. And again, if mine don't get activated, then it doesn't matter. Like if it stays lower or higher than what we predicted, neither one of us win because we don't get activated. So very rough. Matt C saying 20. Oh, you have a theory. Sorry, you have a theory for your.
So my
low?
thinking for this is it's just going to stay range bound, right? This is so I brought it in tighter, my highs and lows tighter than the last one, because we just had the print, right, or we just had like the Fed decision, right, and so I think, or I'm sorry, not the Fed decision, we just had the CPI print, and the markets didn't really do anything too crazy, right? They came back, and now I think they're finding where they're going to hang out until the Fed decision, right? And
Okay.
there's going to be some more economic data, but I think given how the price reacted to this former SEC commissioner FUD, it just kind of sloughed it off. I'm predicting that we just kind of have some nice crab movement, kind of like what we had between. Well, just going over to my screen really quick, kind of like what we had back here. It doesn't want to go.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking is just sideways movement from here.
Well, I'll tell you this, guys. It's just, and the chances of Piper winning Bull of the Week is about 0.0003%. His price is $29,700.00, which means T-Shroom is only $1.76 higher than Piper. That means if it goes above T-Shroom wins, he's got a very small. He's got $1.76 of level to win Bull of the Week. So Piper, we're just gonna go ahead and announce it now. You did not win Bull of the Week. If you did, you are the GOAT of trading forever, and we will never question anything you ever say ever again. His low, though, he is a bear. Like, he is a strong bear, T-Shroom. His low is $27,900.00. You guys know we talked about 28,000. I think 28,000 could be hit by the end of August. I don't know if this week. That's a big fall. But if Piper is right, by the way, everybody, Piper is predicting a big fall this week. That would be a crash of Bitcoin's price by even lower. Yeah, because he's going probably down here, towards the Fibonacci level. He's going for almost a 5% drop in Bitcoin price this week, which is doable. It's absolutely doable. But just so you guys know, if that happens, new lows, we haven't seen those price levels since back in June. I think the altcoin market could have a lot of blood if Bitcoin goes down that quickly, the way Piper's kind of saying it will. But interesting prediction. Sorry, T-Shroom, didn't mean to cut you off. We are going to close up the show here in just a second because it's 10:02, so we're a little over. But did you have any more thought on price predictions there?
No, I'm excited to see. I'm excited. I mean, we'll have Piper will be on tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll be able to unload a lot more thoughts then.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, let us know again. Here in chat, I see Gia S gave a level, 29.8, 28.5. Very interesting. Could be Gia's. Those are good predictions right there. I saw Matt gave a prediction. Love seeing them here in chat. But again, if you are a member, if you have a badge or a green name, make sure you're going over to Discord and getting those in our Bitcoin predictions, and we will give you guys a shout out. I'll say this. We'll allow till the end of the day for you guys to insert your predictions. After that, we will go ahead and say, all right, well, everybody else, you had an extra day. You had too long to predict it. You have the rest of the day. Guys, with that said, thank you so much for everyone who came in here this morning and checked out the Investing Bros. If this was your first time, thank you so much for staying around here. Please help us grow our subscriber numbers. We just hit 4,000. We're headed to 5,000, but we need your help. Please subscribe and share this with everybody you know. We are the fastest growing community. Look forward. We are going to have some more shorter videos coming out here as well. So make sure you guys are taking a look at the Investing Bros. Anything that pops out, go hit a like, go give it some views, share it with your friends, help this community grow. With that said, though, you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. You guys have a great day.
Trying to make paper, turn that better than cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better than cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.